Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Wicked Bitter channel. I'm Travis. Thank you for checking out this video. Hey, if you are a WWE fan, you love WWE content, this is the channel for you. I'm telling you. Subscribe to this channel, like this video for more WWE content. We cover Raw, SmackDown, sometimes NXT, and definitely always the PLEs. And then we do something I like the most, is the email videos. You send in the emails, I make videos, and I answer them here for you. And I love doing those. Those are my favorites. So if you have emails you would like to send in, wickedbittermedia@gmail.com. Send them in, and I will make a video. I will answer your emails. Let's get into what happened on Monday Night Raw. I'm battling tonight, my friends. I'm recording this super late because I had to stay up and I had to watch Monday Night Raw, obviously. And then my Chargers, and they ended up losing to the Arizona Cardinals. So wasted time. I should have just made the video right away, but I was like, you know what, let me hold off. And in the meantime, I kept dozing off. So I'm super tired, but I want to do this. I wanted to watch Raw, and I wanted to watch football. I had like the best of both worlds, and then I'm paying for it now. So, oh well, that's life. We get the superstars walking into Monday Night Raw like we normally do, and the one that was different from all was Bronson Reed. When he was walking in, he gets attacked by Seth Rollins from behind. Seth Rollins ends up walking down to the ring after that assault on Bronson Reed. He gets into the ring and he calls out Bronson Reed. And Bronson Reed comes out. We're about to get this. It's about to happen. Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins about to go face-to-face here. When security comes out, Adam Pearce is with them. He tries to break it up. Doesn't want it to happen. It ends up happening anyway. These two get down to it here. They end up fighting a little bit. And this was kind of a common theme throughout the whole night. These two just went at each other the whole time. At some point here, Bronson Reed ends up putting Seth Rollins on the announce table, and he gets on top of the barricade to do a tsunami. And when he jumps off, Seth Rollins moves, and Bronson Reed goes flying right through the table, and I thought that was a pretty cool moment. And then later on in the whole show, these guys just went at it over and over and over. And to save time and not have to bring it up afterwards, what the ultimate thing that happened here later on in the show was Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins kept attacking each other backstage until at one point Adam Pearce was nearby. He stopped them both. He yelled at them and said, "Hey, you know what? Did you guys ever think that I was going to put you two against each other? That's what I was going to do. You could have just been patient. I would have done it. I would have given you the match." So he ends up making it official. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel. I wouldn't be surprised if this match ends up being like a no DQ match because of everything that's been going on with them lately. But it's official. So at Crown Jewel, Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins, and that's a hot start to Monday Night Raw. By the way, of course, we got to mention Samantha Irvin. Earlier in the day, she posted on her account that she's done. She's done with Raw. She's done with WWE. She's moving on. She's doing something else here. She thanked the fans. She thanked the coaches, her colleagues, the cameramen, the superstars backstage, everybody. She thanked everybody in this post. A lot of people just automatically assume that she's going to AEW. I don't think she's going to AEW. I don't know why she would, other than the fact that she's going to be with Ricochet. Obviously, like that's a number one thing. But if you think about it, Ricochet doesn't work that many days, and Samantha, she doesn't work that many days either. So there would be no sense for it. I mean, she sees Ricochet fairly often, I'm pretty sure, and to me, it would be multiple steps back. WWE absolutely loves her. They give her all the exposure in the world. She's always being posted on their social media accounts. Stuff like that is not going to happen in AEW. I truly do not believe she's going to AEW. I think she's got other things going on. I think she's got like life stuff happening or some big moment going on. And here's a little thing. I've never mentioned any of this to anybody, but Samantha Irvin and I grew up in the same city. Small city called New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's super small. It's about an hour and a half away out of Boston. We went to the same high school. I think she was a grade above me, maybe. I used to see her all the time. Samantha, she's cool as hell. Like, I am actually personally friends with her on Facebook. I am friends with her on Snapchat, and that was before she even became like what she is. Me and her, I'm not going to ride coattails here. I'm not going to say me and her were best friends, because we're not. We never were. But we know of each other. We have talked before. We've talked on Snapchat before. And actually, I am friends with her sister, who is also a very talented singer, and I expect big things out of her at some time. I mean, she's doing great things. She's making her own music. She's going on tour, locally, like small little tours and stuff like that. Very talented family. They're all really cool. I never wanted to say anything because I don't want it to make it seem like me and Samantha were ever like best of friends. We're not like that, but she's super cool. She's got good values, and I thought it was really cool that there were times where she would post on Instagram, and it's like she and Ricochet would be like in my city, and I'm like, damn, Ricochet was in my hometown. Like, they would go to like the coffee shop downtown, and I thought it was cool because my hometown is super small, and like nobody ever heard of it. So like we have that like special cool connection or whatever there. The goal one day is to get Samantha on this show. I think she'd be cool on this channel to do like an interview with her or something like that. But we're gonna work on that eventually. I've mentioned to it before. It hasn't gone anywhere, because this channel is brand new and starting, and she's big time. So it's like, I don't know. It hasn't happened, but hopefully it will someday. All that to say, I hope she does well. I hope whatever she has planned, it goes well. I'm sure it will, and I don't think this is the end of her in WWE. I think we'll see her back at some point. Cool stuff happening here. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus AOP. In the middle of this match, Woods is outside on the ground on the floor, and Karrion Kross is out there just sticking out his hand, saying, "Hey, shake my hand, and this could all be over with." And I thought that was kind of interesting. And then a few seconds later, we see that Miz is all of a sudden leaned up against the announce table. They go to commercial. When they come back, it's Karrion Kross and Scarlett are just standing there with the Miz at the announce table. They're just like talking to him, strategizing or something. I thought that was odd. So it made me think, so is Miz going to be with them during this whole Wyatt tease? Because for a while, people thought the Wyatts were teasing going against the Miz, when really maybe the Wyatts have been teasing that they're going for Final Testament and the Miz. And if it makes sense if that's the case. Regardless, R-Truth ends up showing up, attacking Miz on the outside, causing a distraction, and then Kofi Kingston ends up rolling up AOP, one of the members of AOP, I can't remember who at this point. He rolls up AOP for the win. After the match, Karrion Kross, Final Testament, and Miz attack R-Truth in the ring. Kofi wants to help, but Xavier Woods does it again, where he's trying to talk Kofi not into helping. He's like, it's not our problem, let's go. He's trying to leave. And while that's happening, the lights go out and the Wyatt Six appear. And they attack Final Testament. They get them all out of the ring, and it's just Miz left in the ring. He gets up. He looks relieved, like, wow, they didn't touch me. And then behind him appears Uncle Howdy. And I thought it was pretty cool that Uncle Howdy was about to attack Miz, but Paul Ellering pushes Miz out of the way, and Uncle Howdy ends up hitting the mandible claw on Paul Ellering. I thought that was really cool. Is Paul Ellering getting written off TV? Was that a way to do it, or is that just an attack and Ellering will be back? I'm not sure. But it looks like the Wyatt Six will be going up against the Final Testament and the Miz. And it evens out perfectly. Gacy, Rowan, Loomis, and Howdy, that's 4. And you get AOP, Miz, and Cross, that's 4. And then you got Nikki Cross versus Scarlett. It lines up so perfectly. So that's pretty cool. I actually think this feud might actually be okay. I'm not sure how long I would want it to go for. And I don't really know how deep they'll get. But of course, if they really want to get into it, Bo Dallas was with Miz when they were doing like the Miz Taraj thing. I don't know if he's going to bring that up. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens here. Karrion Kross obviously has had a very close relationship with Bray Wyatt. I remember when he passed, he ended up getting a tattoo of him, honoring him. So we'll see where it goes. There's potential here. I think it could be really good, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it, but I think this will be a really good feud. We get Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane. And in this match again, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are ringside, and they get involved again. So Jakara Jackson ends up beefing with Io on the outside. Lash Legend ends up forearming her again, and that causes the disqualification. And then after the match, Lash Legend and Jakara get into it with Kairi and Io, and then after that's done, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan gets in the ring, and they square off face-to-face with Lash and Jakara Jackson when Rhea Ripley's song hits. Rhea Ripley comes down. She ends up fighting both Raquel and Liv, and this goes on for a little bit here, but Rhea ends up getting like the upper hand here. She ends up going into like she's about to do the riptide to Liv when Dom ends up pulling her out of the ring and saving Liv. And then somehow Rhea gets Dom in the ring. She ends up beating up on Dom, and she's about to she puts him in that I think it's called the prison trap, I think is the name of that submission hold. And, Liv and Raquel end up pulling Dom out of the ring and saving him. And that's that. Rhea looked really good here. She looked really strong against pretty much 3 people. I don't think this is over yet. I still don't want to see Rhea win the championship because I think we've all talked about it. Rhea has been built to be like this unstoppable top force, and it's like, who realistically can face Rhea for that title if she wins it? I mean, yeah, you could throw Raquel in there now, Liv in there now, but I would rather see Liv feud with somebody else and have different opponents, and we do something different with the Women's Championship, because if Rhea wins it, it's like she's going to hold it for another year again, and I don't know, I love Rhea, but I kind of want something else. Later on in the night, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan come up on the Judgment Day. Raquel ends up basically asking Carlito, what is it that you do here? And Carlito's like, I'm a fixer, and I'm going to fix something, because Dominic was talking about becoming world champion, the next contender for Gunther, and Carlito says, you know what? I'm going to show you what I'm worth here on the Judgment Day. I'm going to go talk to Pierce. I'm going to get Dominic this title match. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but since Samantha Irvin was gone, Lillian Garcia was filling in tonight. I don't know if she's going to be here permanently full time. I don't know if this is just a one night thing. I don't know what the goal is here with Lillian, but I love Lillian Garcia and she's a legend. But what she did tonight was comical in a way, because she kept announcing people coming down to the ring that weren't even there. And I'm like, Lillian, are you even looking what's going on? Are you reading off something? She announced Liv Morgan and Raquel was being accompanied by Dom when Dom wasn't there, and I know Wade Barrett tried his hardest to kind of cover for it and be like, I don't see Dominic at all. But like, that wasn't the only time she did it, because when LWO came out, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and with Zelina Vega, she said that they were with Joaquin Wilde. I'm like, there's no Joaquin Wilde. Like, Lillian, what are you looking at? I don't know what is going on there. I feel like she was clearly just reading off something. Like, oh, okay, who's in LWO? Oh, Joaquin Wilde's with him? Cool. Yeah, I'll say he's here. He's not here. She did that like all night. Regardless, Rey and Dragon Lee end up winning the tag team match against American Made to advance in this tournament. And I'm thinking, like, what are we doing with American Made now? I thought they were going to be bigger than this, better than this. I thought they were going to be winning. They had that feud with the Wyatts, and I'm like, okay, that can catapult them, and then they just lose to Dragon Lee and Rey. And no disrespect, because Rey's obviously a legend, but like, man, I'm expecting a little more out of it for American Made, and I don't know, maybe they just become another tag team and they get lost in the shuffle here, and I hope that's not the case, but how could you not think that? That's so far what it's been since leaving the Judgment Day's feud. Or since stopping their feud with the Wyatt Six is what I meant to say. After that feud, it's like they haven't done anything else. Carlito ends up going backstage talking to Adam Pearce. He ends up finding a way somehow, after asking Pearce, please, to give Dom a chance here. Pearce laughed at it at first, but Pearce finally gives in. He says, you know what? If Dominic can defeat a former World Heavyweight Champion next week, I will consider him against Gunther. And I was like, well, damn, this is a weird, like, turn of events here. Like, how did this happen? Carlito ends up calling himself the Fixer. They're really putting it out there. I think this is going to be a moniker, a catchphrase, a nickname for Carlito right now. And he calls himself the Fixer, and he leaves. And then Adam Pearce says, "I need a drink." Is Adam Pearce an alcoholic? A genuine question, because every time this man faces any kind of stress on Raw, which is all the time, this man has no control over this show. There's chaos every single week, all night long on Raw, no matter what. Pearce is constantly running out to the ring, breaking up things. He's constantly breaking up fights backstage. You got Nick Aldis, who's the most chill dude ever on SmackDown. And on Raw, even at getting scaled down to 2 hours, it's still the most chaotic show that Pearce cannot get control over. And anytime anything goes wrong, he talks about how he needs a drink. I don't know. We might have to start worrying here. Might need to do an intervention here for Adam Pearce. Small little thing happened here. I'm not going to get too much into it, but Damian Priest ends up coming up to Gunther backstage, and he tells him, hey, it's time for me to get back what I never really lost. And he said, before you say anything, I'm not going to do anything now. You take care of your business at Crown Jewel, but when you come back, just know I'm coming for that World Heavyweight Championship. And Gunther kind of smiles, and he goes, you know what? Good for you. And he walks away. And I feel like Gunther is kind of giving Priest kind of some like props and respect here. Like, hey, I appreciate... Gunther's a stand-up guy. He appreciates when people come up to him and they're honest and upfront and they stand their ground, and he kind of gives him his props. You know what? Appreciate you coming up to me and telling me that. That's fine. I'm going to beat you, but I appreciate you taking the time, coming up to me, not even attacking me, not doing anything slimy or dirty. You just came up to me and say, you know what? When you come back from Crown Jewel, I'll be here waiting. I'm going to earn it. But I'm going to come back for that World Heavyweight Championship. And if there's something Gunther can appreciate, is somebody who works hard and earns their shot at a championship. I'm not saying he's the most friendly guy, because Gunther is not, but I think it goes a long way when someone earns their spot to face him. We get our main event. Main event, Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker. I'm going to miss the way Samantha says that. Main event match here, Intercontinental Championship, and I think a lot of us saw the writing on the wall here. I think we all kind of assumed what happened was going to happen. Solo Sikoa comes out through the crowd. He's got a Yeet shirt. He's got 2 tickets. He's so proud of himself. Hey, we bought 2 tickets. We don't even get to sit down. We're going to stand right here. And it's him and Jacob Fatu. Fatu's in his ring gear, as always, and that's how he just showed up to be in the crowd. He bought tickets, put the wrist tape on his fingers. All good to go. I'm going to be in the crowd. I'm in my ring gear. I'm going to sit here in my ring gear in the crowd. But yeah, they're in the crowd here, and I thought that was going to be it for a little bit. I thought it was just these 2. But all of a sudden, we see Tongaloa, and Jay ends up super kicking him. And then a couple seconds later, Tama Tonga comes jumping out through the crowd. Jay moves out of the way, super kicks him. I'm like, okay, so the whole bloodline is here now. Solo comes out, he gets over the barricade. He starts talking to Jay, saying, I'm here to help you win. He kept saying that over and over and over. Breakker ends up suicide diving on both of these guys, and they're brawling a little bit. Kind of gets a little jumbled up a little bit here, but eventually what it comes down to was Tongans end up getting on the apron to cause another distraction. Adam Pearce, again, maybe after having his drinks, comes out with the security guards, and they're trying to get the Tongaloa and Tama Tonga out of here. And then while that was happening, Jey Uso ran from that entrance part of the ringside, if that makes sense. And he runs all the way around, kind of like when Breakker likes to do his spear. He likes to run all the way around the ring. And he goes to try to do that, but he gets hit with a super kick from Jacob Fatu. Fatu throws him back in the ring, and Bron Breakker gets him back in the ring. Breakker ends up hitting a spear on Jay. I might be leaving out a move or 2 here, but basically what it boils down to is Solo and Jacob Fatu, and ultimately the Tongans cost Jey Uso the Intercontinental Championship, which I think a lot of us expected that to happen. Bron Breakker wins the Intercontinental Championship, and my friends, that's a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. Are the dogs barking or what? Because Bron Breakker is now the Intercontinental Champion for the 2nd time. And I'm going to tell you what, at one point in this match, Breakker squared off face-to-face with Jacob Fatu, because Breakker went to go spear Jey Uso. Jey Uso moved, and Breakker speared Solo Sikoa, and that pissed off Jacob Fatu. He looked very angry. He got over the rail, and he went face-to-face with Breakker. And that's when Jay hit the suicide dive. I might have said that Breakker hit the suicide dive. It was Jay that hit it on both of those guys. And I don't know. I don't think this is over even with Breakker. I don't think it's over with Breakker. I think Breakker is not going to like the fact that the Bloodline got involved in his match, even though he won. I think we're going to get a call back to that. I think Breakker is going to approach these guys at some point here. And then maybe that's where Breakker gets the face turn. Because maybe we got teased of it a little bit. And he's already mentioned that he respects Jey Uso earlier in the show. I feel like there's signs of it still. I think we're not going to hold out here. I think Breakker still has a chance to turn face. Crowd loves him. He's over. He gets the barks. We glaze and praise Bron Breakker here at Wicked Bitter. So cool way to end Raw. It was a solid show overall. A lot of good moments. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight, guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Send in those emails. I think I noticed that a few came in. I might make a video this week if I can. Obviously, you guys all know my situation. I'm going through some stuff with school right now, so I'm trying to work and navigate through that, but I want to make another video. I want to make an email video, so check out midweek. I'll probably come out with that Wednesday, Thursday. But yeah, until we eat again, my friends, have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your night, depending on whenever you're watching this. Good rest of your week, and until the next video, as always, my friends, stay bitter.